The fucking dog didn't go off the hinges. Oh.
Who's on? Oh, KD, you ended in the middle here on this one. Your least favorite position.
That depends on who's on the other side.
All right. What's up, guys? So welcome to another episode of Drinks and Dogs. I am here none other with my brother KD, my brother Frass. So cheers, guys. We would start this off with the cheers.
Salud.
Cheers, guys. Really happy to have you guys on.
An honor, man.
As you guys know, or if this is your first time watching Drinks and Dogs, KD Matthews, I really feel like I don't have to explain who you are because you're the man in that sense. And KD Matthews, dog trainer, life coach extraordinaire, now doing all the stuff that he does. So thank you for being on, brother.
Thanks for having me as always, man.
And Frass, I'm not even going to try to butcher your last name. Frass.
What's up?
That's like, already I'm going to do horrible at it. Frass, Warriors Academy, all like the martial arts stuff that you do. Thank you for being on, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you for being on, brother. So just give you guys a background on what's going on today, or what we're doing tonight in this show is, Katie, we've been talking about this quite a bit. We've been talking about, actual like protection work and like actual like self-defense work, and everything that goes in, meaning dog, non-dog. And Katie, you've been training jiu-jitsu for a long time too, right?
2005.
And then Frass, I don't even know how long you've been doing all like the stuff that you.
I've been a self-defense instructor for this month, 18 years now, as an instructor. Yeah, I've been doing martial arts since I was 8 years old. My first martial art I was involved in was judo. When we lived in the Middle East, it's kind of different than here. When you go to school, you are forced to pick a martial art and another sport. It has to be like a ball sport. But since I'm short, I got thrown in fucking soccer. So go figure. Not basketball. I always like basketball, but never worked for me.
You don't have a 48-inch vertical, bro?
Somewhere else.
Oh, we're gonna get
jokes
into
aside, but
dirty
yeah,
stuff tonight, Katie.
That's how I got involved. Yeah, but that's how I got involved in all that. Jiu-jitsu, I got into it in 2002, kind of close to the time when I got introduced to Krav, because that was the self-defense that I got jumped in. My awareness of jiu-jitsu came from judo, to be honest with you. When they were taught it in the Middle East, it's way different than here. It's not the sport judo where we just dump people and there was a lot of restraint and control in it. When I came here, I moved in the United States in 96. It kind of surprised me how the art differentiate big much. And when I came here, I got involved in wrestling and I stopped liking grappling more. And that's kind of where step by step it started leading me toward jiu-jitsu, to be honest with you. But I started as legit grappling. It was more in wrestling. I got involved in catch wrestling, and then jiu-jitsu just came by. So
I like this guy.
So let's break it down just a little bit, just for the viewers here, because obviously we've been all talking. But Frass, give me a breakdown. Where are you located? What is the name of your company and everything that you do?
I'm located in Kansas City, Missouri. Not Kansas, where they got the cows. I got to differentiate this. I got a friend that went to Kansas, like, the fuck where I'm at? I was like, that's not my hood. The Kansas City, Missouri, in downtown, I got a gym called Warriors Academy KC, and we've been hitting our 8th year, getting close to hitting our 8th year.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a gym where I got an MMA team. We got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, of course. And, of course, the lead, we got the Krav Maga program for the self-defense. So
I saw that you guys just got a bigger facility, right?
Yes, moved in a very bigger facility right now. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. And then the MMA team. Is it or you have a Bellator fighters or UFC? Which ones do you guys have on that? Or?
We had one that was just trying out a couple of I got a couple of affiliates that I've known have been there, and now I got a young team in. Some of the people just kind of moved on, to be honest. And when we moved, it's almost I wanted to flip a new page. And to be honest with you, with the fight team, I rebuilt it. 1 second, I got my bulldog. My son's coming through. But anyway, so we started a new team. I got a Muay Thai guy that he's actually been one of those guys that involved in a lot of bare knuckle stuff. I started getting in the young team. So we're rebuilding the whole team, to be honest with you now, with the move we did. COVID just made everything weird. I mean, you have people that have been around that suddenly just don't want to train or whatever the reasons and wigged out. So you guys know I don't need to get and waste everybody's time with this crap. But yeah, go ahead.
So, all right, so we've done, and obviously we know that you have dogs.
Yeah.
Now we have dogs now. And for everyone knows, Frass is not a dog trainer or anything like that. What we're talking essentially is about the self-defense aspect of everything. So, Katie, like you've been in jiu-jitsu, you've actually been you've been involved in decoying and, the actual work. And, the man that we never mentioned, but, the OG, when it comes to that stuff, the thought process, and this is something that I teach a lot to my guys is, you have to be able to work with your dog. And it also changes the relationship when you go into self-defense. I think, bringing in, bridging the gap when it comes to learning how to fight and, learning how to defend yourself is, a really crucial part when it comes to like personal protection training in general. And like, that's one of the elements that I think a lot of people kind of mess up on. Like, they just think they see the videos of the dog getting sent out and, oh, boom, bite, recall, call off or whatever, but not actually getting into like the real dirtiness of like the fight and like what is going on and what it does to change the relationship between you and your dog as well.
Well, maybe a different word even, when I know what you mean when you say the dirtiness of it, right? I know exactly what you mean. And for those watching, another word we could use would be the reality of it.
Yeah.
And first off, I'm so looking forward to tonight. Just so you guys know, I've been excited for this episode since you first talked to me about it, Mike. Because as and Mike knows, and for those of you watching, Mike and I have had a lot of conversations on the phone about this, about these concepts, about the. But in different contexts, we've spoken about as we were getting to know each other and building rapport. We've talked about our personal backgrounds, our personal experience with martial arts, our personal experience with violence, and then talking about how that applies to dog training and protection training and working with dogs. And there's so many layers to this onion, this onion of combat. And the word reality is what was the catalyst for me speaking right now, because there are so many people that simply just don't, and this is not their fault, but don't understand the reality of violence. They don't understand the reality of life. And when we talk about martial arts, and Frass, I'm going to hand this over to you in a moment, and I have some questions for you, to help people to understand that, what you see on TV, even UFC, and I enjoy UFC, but there's a line. There's a line between sport and the reality of violence. And throughout tonight's episode,
totally appreciate that comment, by the way.
Because you know.
Yeah.
And throughout tonight's discussion, I'm sure we're going to absolutely explore the parallels between this and dogs, but I think it would help us all to really, let's just continue to focus on, let's talk more about human to human, right? Like the idea of, sport training versus real self-defense training. And even with self-defense training, there's a line between self-defense training and then what happens when it's fucking real.
Yeah. When I get my moment, I'm gonna lit on that one, because Mike follows, man. He knows I'm very vocal about this. I don't have a lot of friends in the industry because, especially in the self-defense industry, I'm not talking about MMA, combat, jiu-jitsu, and that. I am very harsh and honest when it comes to self-defense, because I see some stuff and I'm like, I just roll my eyes. I was like, oh my God, you're gonna get somebody killed.
Okay, so with that, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna jump straight into
it. We're gonna hit it.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay, and you're gonna help these questions. And by the way, these questions I have, they're personal questions. Like, this is my first opportunity to have a real dialogue a real dialogue with somebody experienced in Krav Maga.
Yep.
So I'm taking advantage of that. Now, coming from a jiu-jitsu perspective, and just a little background to make it relevant for you, Roz. You know, I got into Brazilian jiu-jitsu in 2006. I'm in my late 20s. I had, prior to that, zero combat training, hand-to-hand training. Had never been in a fight other than me hitting somebody once or twice, like never been hit back, never been involved in real violence. I had gotten into a fight in the street. I lost, and I felt like I should have won. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, I know I can beat that guy if I actually knew what I was doing. And that took me down the rabbit hole. I found a black belt under Hoist, and my life changed.
So, sorry to cut you off, but my question is, I'm asking, when you said Hoist, so you did jiu-jitsu self-defense. You didn't do sports jiu-jitsu.
No, we didn't do self-defense.
Oh, okay. Sorry. When you said Hoist, I just thought, okay, sorry about my assumption, because I've seen him a couple of times when he comes here. There's some affiliates. Their stuff is really combative jiu-jitsu. So
they have the combatives program.
It's lately I've rolled with Hoist before, and like some of those guys, because Mike Kogan trained at Fairtex when I fought for Fairtex, and before it was like he had, I think they changed the combative program 5-6 years ago, or something like that, where like his sons, who's the ones they're down in LA.
Are those his nephews or something like that?
That's Horian's kids.
Yeah.
Horian's kids. Okay. So like I remember like when they came into Fairtex and we were rolling with them, and it was still very much sport orientated. And we're just like Leo's like, because Leo's luta libre, so like we're everything smash and grind, and we're fucking.
That's my Muay Thai. The Muay Thai guy he comes from a luta libre contra.
It's all just like push, and I remember getting chewed out because I was digging shoulders in too much to.
I'm really surprised. That's why I'm asking about it, because I don't go with those guys much. And nothing against it, but you guys go ahead, then I'll jump in. But gathering from KD. I just want to understand when he said the Hoist affiliate, so I thought it just could be combative jiu-jitsu.
No,
nothing against it.
It was traditional. It was, we learned the gi. The black belt I was under at the time excelled at no gi. So there was a lot of no gi and gi, but there wasn't much of the actual, there wasn't hardly any of the actual combatives. Very little take. I mean, if I got you on the ground, I'd fuck you up. The problem was I can't get you to the ground. And that was a big problem when I stepped into the competition scene, and I learned that really fast. So that was my introduction to it. It was very much a blend of traditional gi Brazilian jiu-jitsu with a lot of no gi coming in. And there's a reason why I lit up when you mentioned catch wrestling, because as I spent time in and years go on, you meet different people. I had the privilege of becoming very close friends with Carl Malenko, who fought Pride, did all the shoot fighting out there, and he was one of Carl Gotch's last remaining students outside of Josh Barnett, and he was my neighbor. So, like, I lived next to Carl Gotch's legacy.
Yeah. My catch wrestling coach is Eric Paulson, by the way. I just posted a video. I don't know if Mike saw it, of me with him 2 years ago when he was teaching me something. It just shows you the mentality of catch. I think we'll break it down later to the audience between catch and jiu-jitsu. And when I developed my self-defense program, because I'm going to get deep into about the Krav Maga and piss them off more. But anyway, my ground, it does have jiu-jitsu, but what I've learned from the CSW system that's run by Coach Paulson, it's a hybrid. Jiu-jitsu is good when you're on your back. It is a supreme art when it comes to that, hands down. Catch, you got to understand pro wrestling when, the whole step, but you still have pinning, you still, so catch wrestlers in nature don't like to be on their back because they're getting pinned if it's a catch wrestling competition. So when he mixed the two, I believe in catch because it's aggressive, and that's why I mix it in violent. Very violent. It says snap, rip, break.
Yeah, catch is catch.
It's just catch. You just grab anything, a finger, neck. There's no rules. They'll twist the fuck out of you. And I will give one experience, and I don't want to make it as a sour note, but you guys know that feeling when you meet your, let's say, fighter idol, you know, when we nerd out and you're like, I'm going to get a chance to spar or roll with them. So my introduction to catch, when I met my coach, Eric Paulson, a seminar, Josh Barnett was there. So I got excited to roll with him. Dude, he stretched the fuck out of me so bad. I'm 5'7". Back then I was 160. Here's Barnett. I'm getting stretched from my ankle up to my head to my ass. And I'm like, all right, this guy's an asshole, or what the hell is going on here? I'm not liking this because you got to ease up, buddy. And after that, he slapped me in the back of the head. He was like, good job, kid. I was like, kid, I'm 32. But okay. But, all right, dude. And I got mad. I really, don't get me wrong. I was really sour about it for a minute. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he just ripped me. You know, I was like, let's flow. And I'm like, God, man, this dude is just, but hey, it was all up. It was great. Even when I was like, yeah, this was a beating. and I went in with a jiu-jitsu mentality. That went off the fucking window. Because guard and any of that. Oh my God. And what's scary, KD? There was no strikes. But everybody, of course, you're going to get arguments. Well, that's Josh Barnett. That was not Josh Barnett going full blown. It's just because if he went full blown, he would have just snapped me.
The training Josh Barnett.
Yeah, and I wasn't even happy about it. But I don't think you'll even know it or remember. But I was like, oof, that was an experience.
Well, that's the thing about catch wrestling is, you know, we call it pain wrestling because you're actually wanting them to put you in a submission because it hurts worse prior to the submission. The dragging of the shin across to every bone in your body, the dragging. And at the time, this is the, you know, early 2000s. At that time, jiu-jitsu was pussified.
Yeah.
So there was no cross-facing. There was no wrist locking. If you did a leg
I didn't
lock,
know that.
Oh, you didn't. If you were an asshole if you did that.
Even till now. Wrist
Yeah,
lock.
sometimes I think they get so sensitive about the whole wrist locking and shit. I mean, our jiu-jitsu coach don't give a shit. He makes people do everything, even from white belt, because they have to.
Leg locks? Oh, what are you leg locking for? Well, because it fucking works. Oh no, you know, learn to pass. Why should I pass when I can rip your knee apart? You know, so then I got introduced to catch wrestling, and I'm like, when are you going to put me in a submission? Because, like, this hurts so bad. I want to tap, but I know I can't tap because I'm not in a submission, and that would make me a pussy. So, like, just submit me, please.
You do not want to
End
tap
the
the
fucking
smashing
throw.
that you're thinking about. It's like, dude, this is sucking my fucking soul. Hey, that's not this. But you know, if you did that, it's just gonna look so
Dude,
bad.
that's why I love Luta Libre so much. Like in the beginning, like when we would get, I fucking kicked out of here again.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ. This is why I love like Luta Libre, like when I first got introduced to it, and like that's why I'm happy like my journey was started there, especially with Leo, Leopoldo Sorrell. I know you're not probably watching this, but if you do watch this, you're an asshole, and I know life is not Disneyland. And thank you for teaching me all the lessons you did because you created what you created. But like when I started with him, it was always smash and pass. Like so, I learned the hard way. Like and like what Katie was saying, like you're like praying at certain points, like. Dude, can you just choke me out or get me in something that I can tap to so I don't like just tap to pressure? And like then Leo had like he's gonna fucking kill me if he ever watches this, but Leo had like man boobs, like where he would like there's an engulfment here like in his chest, and he would like fucking just like get like on mount and just dig his chest in, and like he was like, I'm not gonna fucking tap to this, like I will go like I'm moving around trying to do what I can do, but he would always just crank in. Like
they call that a catch, the mother's milk.
Yeah, like just
I'm being serious.
I mean, I would do the fuck. I mean, if I can name it, I would go and do with it. But I remember, like, I would just go, like, I was like, dude, I was like, I'm not gonna fucking tap to this. I'm not gonna tap to this. And like, he would switch to something different or like whatever. Like, when I first started, but like even like you know in the beginning, like when I first started in jiu-jitsu, I went to like health Gracie's. And like you're not even like in Mountain View, and it was just like weird. Like his mentality, and you know, helps a little guy, and like he was just like very much crushing your soul type of a thing. And then I got introduced to Veritex because I was boxing, and I went to Leo, and I was like, Leo Luta Libre. I was like, this seemed much more realistic because it was nogi. and another friend of mine, John Barsardi, he does catch wrestling, and I was like, dude, I was like, when I got to catch wrestling and the rest of it, I was like, man, I was like, this is lucha libre is just like the dirty jujitsu or the realistic jujitsu, because it is like basically how Leo taught me.
I have not met anybody that did lucha libre that wasn't a tough son of a bitch to train with. I mean, it's and I like those kind of people, but here's the thing. We're all businessmen. And when I run the academy and I get somebody like that unleashed on every beginner student, like, bro, and we will talk about this, but not a lot of people are into that pain, and it's dumb. Don't get me wrong. I've had so many arguments against me of what my way of my academy. And I do believe, I mean, as we mature, I mean, I'm 42 now. I would see somebody, I'm like, all right. I mean, don't say, when I was with Tony, I was terrible. I'm not, I was just a terrible training partner. But the thing is, I do believe, like KD was talking about when he keeps talking about the reality level. And you know what, man? And gentlemen, as we agree here, not a lot of people are into that grind and that pain.
Nope.
And there's a problem. And I think KD will go. I mean, I got a feeling when he talks about Crawford, I'm going to give him all the answers he wants. Not a lot of people, okay, and we're not PC here, so there's a lot of this shit is pussified for money. And I'll give a story about how that I got into a very known person about things like that when it comes to training. When KD, me and him talk, but I believe actually, like when Mike talks about the grind of lucha libre, because honestly, if somebody's thinking about experiencing violence, you got to understand the pain. Of course, nobody's going to come in and knock you the fuck out and just give you a concussion, but
it'll make you hurt.
You know, like I tell people, I was like, I did professional Muay Thai training and I just show them my forehead. I was like, look at all these cuts. I know what an elbow feels like. I know. Is it fun? Hell no. Do I want to get a hit with it again? No, but I know. And you get these guys that never did any combat, not just streets. I'm talking about combat sports. And they're teaching people, self-defense and this. And I'm like thinking in my head, you never got really punched in the eye before. Where are you coming with this? The theories of your teaching? You know,
never experienced being close to death or something like close to it.
Yeah.
I mean, like that was like the theory. Oh, so like when I joined into Fairtex, and this is obviously we rushed through it before. I joined into Fairtex, and Anthony, who the guy, he's a dickhead. He owns Fairtex. Like that's Anthony Fairtex. So that's that. Like whatever you're seeing this, fuck you. I don't care. Like you're an asshole. But like Leopoldo wasn't part of it, and like he was just the trainer of the jiu-jitsu, the grappling side. Him and Josh McDonald, Justin Holdas, all these guys that like just monsters. But the whole crew on our grappling side was always like, if they come onto our side and they're not on the Muay Thai side, we're gonna make them pay. And like you and like Leo's thing, like as soon as the new guy would come on the mat, kill him, like just put him to his put him the grinds on him, and like that's what we did. And like so we ended up and anyone who was part of that actually program to this day is like somewhat successful in fighting. I mean, like there's Benji Silva that came out of that. There's so many people that just came out of that whole program were just monsters because of that. But as a business owner, it didn't make sense because people were just getting crushed and were running away from it. And as soon as Leo went to his own gym, he had to start switching it up. But that's kind of like the give and take. And at Frass, as we opened the gym with Arash. And KD, yeah. We haven't told you about this, but my ex-wife's brother, Arash, we opened a fighting gym. So I taught boxing and I taught grappling there. And in the beginning, Arash always had to pull the reins a little bit. It's like, Mike, he's like, you can't I was putting people like in fucking like omoplatas and all stuff, like choking people out. There's like just weird stuff, but I was just doing the smash and pass stuff that Leo taught me. But it wasn't conducive to making money. But I felt it made people stronger. So it was it's definitely a different world when it comes to like creating like actual people who can, save themselves versus versus just like doing like fucking whatever cardio kickboxing or some shit like that.
And honestly, Mike, that's when I decided to revamp our MMA program and totally separate it. You know, MMA, I don't know. I want to get a nice. There's a fetish for it. Is that not a good way to put it? There is a
Yeah.
weird fetish, but I do believe. Um, I developed when I talked and we got this guy and we had a team. One of our grappling coaches is a full-on wrestling. He's a brown belt jiu-jitsu, but he's a wrestler. And I have a soft spot for wrestlers because just
Wrestle, man. He's a brown belt. Jesus.
Here we go. So yeah, you know wrestlers how they are. And he has like 20 years of experience of that grind. You know, I came from a wrestling background. So at this year, when I moved to the new facility we're talking about, Mike, when I made the decision to figure out the differences, I said, all right, there's a fight team and there's students. And we literally, when we decided with the fight team, it's just going to be a beating. You say you want to be fighting? All right. You're literally going to have your skin hanged on the wall. That's going to be the fight night for you. And it made things much better, to be honest with you. And it differentiated. And honestly, there's some people that come in for it and they experience that real fight camp training. Like, dude, I don't want to be a part of this shit. And what I did a mistake before when we had the fight team, we had like 1-2 fighters. We're getting in and help the students to help them in fight camp. We lost students during the fight camps. They just do not want to go through that grind. And all of you have been there when you're cutting weight and you get close and that momentum. I mean, I remember when I competed 2017 in Pan Am, the entire gym did not tolerate me. I was not even teaching. Like literally, I was dropping from 198 to compete at 170. Going in. And I even competed on the entire fucking gym hated me. Nobody tolerated me. And when I was rolling for the kill. So you have to differentiate. And of course, people are going to look at us, what the fuck does that have to do with real fighting? It's that momentum sometimes you need. It's that feel. It's that just like, you know what? I'm going to fuck you up right now. We're going to go roll, and I'm going to kill you. Not a lot of people want that. And a great person I know, a friend of mine, Tom DeBlas, he has a successful gym. But I tell you, he talks about his competition crew. There's not a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
And that's how you separate business.
I mean, like, that's where the people that, I mean, like, especially if you're experienced in like violence or whatever, like you're experienced in going to that level, but maintaining that level of clarity and like, you know, bringing this back into, you know, the dog stuff and fighting like that, you know, when you get to a specific level and understanding that much pressure and like that intent to harm and you're able to, I don't say like neutralize it, but like you can find the calmness in the craziness, if that makes sense. Like you can find the calmness in like, I'm going hard as fuck. I really want to hurt you, but I'm thinking clear at this sense. Whereas most people who, you know, go through that level of pressure, they're like, I want to get the fuck out of here. It's fight or flight. I want to get the fuck out of here. Or they just go into that blind, like, you know, anger, but finding that ability to just be like, oh, I'm cool here. Like,
that's why rolling with new white belts sucks.
Yeah.
Now I'm old, right? I got a horrible back. Like I'm like the 15-year purple belt. Like it took me forever because of injuries. And like now when I roll, I will tell you no, I'm not rolling with you. I have no shame. I used to be the guy who never said no, and that ended up with a ruptured lower lumbar because of it. So like now and like my last, I tore my groin right, like literally a month after I finally get my purple.
Ugh.
One of our black belts, we're in the locker room, and he's like, "Hey man, I got to do a private. You want to be the uke?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." You know, okay. And he's like, "What do you want to work on, man?" Like, "I'll work on whatever you want to work on. Who cares what he does?" And I'm like, not thinking who this black belt was. Now this black belt is a large, older pressure passer. And so I go, my guard passing sucks. So I'm like, let's do guard passing. He's like, okay, no problem. Now I'm forgetting that I'm the fucking uke. And for those who don't know, I'm the guy who for an hour is going to get beat up on and allow the client to run the move. I'm not thinking, I'm not going to be passing guard. I'm going to be getting my guard passed. 1. 2, the only guard pass this guy teaches is a pressure pass.
Smash pass.
I have a tender groin injury I've been nursing.
Oh.
I didn't know who the client was. We get on the mat. It's a 6'4", 250-pound white belt.
Oh, white belt. Whoa.
So the black belt's like, all right.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I can just visualize this.
He starts to show the pass, and I know it because I know his pass. It's a slow and low. It's a low smash and smooth, like grind through. The white belt grabs we're in gi. He grabs, and his hands are already shaking. We're not even rolling. It's a private fucking lesson, and he's already shaking. Yeah. And I'm thinking, fuck, I got a groin injury. Oh, fuck. Boom, boom. After 45 minutes, I felt the pop.
Oh.
And it tore. I had a grade 2 tear in my groin when I was at the peak. I had just done my first IBJJF. I had been like renewed in my jiu-jitsu quest. I had gotten the purple belt that I had been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, getting out the blue card.
Groin. 2 years of sitting from the big white belt who thinks you just raped his sister.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Fuck you, white belts. Fuck you. Like, if you want to roll with me and you're in my weight class, just know I'm going to educate you. You little.
By educate means that you're going to get hurt really bad.
Oh, yeah. I felt that in my groin, bro.
The groin injury was almost worse than the back because if I work out and I exercise, I can take care of my back. Mm-hmm. There is no working out or exercising to take care of your groin. Like, you can't do anything. You can't go upstairs. You can't like stand up. You can't fart. You can't. It's a horrible injury.
So yeah, I had an injured groin. I never ripped it, and it was the worst 6 months of nursing it. So, oof.
The thing, one thing I wanted, like, obviously talk about, you know, everyone's talking about white belts and everything like that, but the thing about the thought process of a white belt coming into, you know, jiu-jitsu or whatever we're doing, right? So the media, it's frantic. So, I mean, even like when it comes to like, you know, just a normal person getting attacked, it's frantic. It's like Katie said, you know, shaking, like grabbing a hold of the gi. It's like all this other stuff. So the training isn't there, you know? So like they automatically go into whatever it is they're doing. There's no real technical thought when it comes to the combative way of doing things. Yep. And, you know, and that's what me and Katie, we were talking about. And like Faraz, I actually, how long ago was that when I asked you to come down to like California? It was like a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, like we're going to combine like a self-defense seminar and a dog training with self-defense seminar together. And then Katie, we've been talking about that since we've actually been talking to each other. So as a white belt coming in, that's the reality of most people. Like most people, when they get into a fight, they're just like, they're frantic.
It's I gotta tell you something, Mike, and you guys are gonna love this. So I got back into, you know, with the times and all that. I was like, all right, I was a bodyguard back in the day. I retired 2008. So fuck it, I'm done with it. It interfered with personal life. Money was great, don't get me wrong, but you're never home. And it just started getting into my life and all that. I mean, I miss it. Tempted to get back to it. Got to figure out that. So decided I'll do a little bit security bouncing job. Man, I used to think I was a bouncer back in the day too, and I ran a couple of like from strip clubs to bars to clubs. Worked them, you know, like in Miami also. So I've seen it all. I've seen all the hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom kind of shit, and you gotta track those guys out. But lately, fighting is so weird. And I explained to you one of my assistant with me. He's a black belt under me in Krav. He froze just watching, and it wasn't that he had the frozen moment of a real fight coming up. No, none of that. He came up to back me up. He just saw me standing. Literally, guys, two guys got in to face each other, lips on nose, like face-to-face shit. And I'm like, watching this, I'm like, all right, you guys gonna kiss or gonna headbutt? I mean, I was watching the whole scenario. I was like, how can I fix this quick? That one dude grabbed the other dude from the side, a weird clinch, and shaking him and yelling at him. That was a fight.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's like white belt stuff, dude.
Like, holding him, you motherfucker. And then I'm like, another dude, I'm like, and I looked at my assistant. I was like, the fuck's wrong with you? He was like, civilians fight like this? I'm like, you never seen civilian fight? I was like, what's wrong with you? He's like, Coach, I've been training with you like for so many years. I'm getting lit by MMA guys, and he goes to every class. Like, he's a hard ass. And he was like, and literally he looked like, you know, when the German Shepherd get confused and turned that head to the side? That's what he looked like. And he's like 6'1" bigger than me. I'm like, the fuck you doing? Can you just break him up? And he's like, what's going on here? I was like, they're fighting. He's like, that's fighting?
Dude,
That was fighting.
KD, so we've talked about this, and we've talked about like the deep water work and like just, you know, people understanding what it, you know, what it is and everything like that. And like that's where like in dog training, for example, you know, you see like for us, like for me, like I'll fight with a dog for 10 plus minutes. Like I'll have them on me, like we'll fight. I'll do incremental pressure here and there. I'll use intensity levels. So it's not this they're biting me in 30 seconds or running a routine. It's like, oh hey, like we're gonna, you know, you're gonna bite me, and then we're gonna figure out, boom, like you're gonna understand, like, okay, pressure's coming on, pressure's coming off, and that we're in actual fight. So you actually have to technically think of what's going on. And then we involve handlers, and then we involve, like, you know, it's all this other stuff. So there is much more than what, you know, the reality of it is. So like when my dogs do, like, I mean, in this last weekend we did a decoy seminar, and we had 15 plus decoys, and everyone got to meet my dogs. They got to meet like the dogs that we've trained, and it didn't work out so great for some of the decoys, but they got to see that it wasn't like, okay, we're sending the dog's going to be outed in like 15, 30 seconds, and then it's over. It's like actually part of a combative thing. And I believe the same thought process should be applied to dogs. You know, like, you know, everyone thinks like, oh, hey, like a protection dog, it's going to be naturally there if it's a working dog, or like, you know, everyone's like, oh, my dog's naturally going to protect me and all this other stuff. It's the same thing as a civilian trying to fight somebody. Like what your experience for us, you know, it's the same thing that has to be taught, has to be trained, and you have to go through all these different levels of it as well to get better and get proficient at it in reality.
Well, that makes me think of, and Mike, you and I have talked about this. This goes back to what I am pretty outspoken about when it comes to decoying. Even though, oh, I don't decoy anymore. Yeah, fuck anybody who says that. I don't give a shit. I've paid my fucking dues. Like,
you're there, bro.
Sorry to cut you off, guys. When you call decoy, is it like basically the person that getting jumped by the dog?
Yep.
Okay, I just had to get that.
Yep.
I have a lot of experience with it, other than when I met Mike. He taught me a lot of this stuff. Of course, he's trying to put me in one of those suits, and I keep refusing. I was like, fuck. He's like, it's only pressure. I'm like, fuck that. Then he shows me a video of that dog jumping and hitting him and busting his eye bar. I'm like, nope.
That dozer cut me up in the face. Decoying essentially. Actually, Katie, go ahead and explain it. Go ahead. You give me a. You're better at explaining things better.
I mean, you're the sparring partner, and there's different levels of decoying. There's the trial decoy, whose job is to win and steal points from the dog. There's the training decoy, whose job is to build the dog. That is your sparring partner, who needs to know how to. That's the brown belt working with the blue belt, helping him develop through various, through pressure and knowing when to release and knowing when to go through all that. That's the training decoy, is to be able to grasp all of that. And that brings me to, what I was saying is I find it difficult to understand how a decoy can effectively teach a dog and prepare a dog for real combat when they themselves have not been through the various levels of combat. And this brings us back to the word of the night, reality, and I know myself, I learned in the gym. I learned jiu-jitsu in the gym with a rule set, and I went through my shaky phase, and then I got over it, and I became very comfortable very quickly. And, I was one of the smaller guys, 5'11", 145 pounds. Like there wasn't any muscle on this body at all. It was bone, right? So I learned how to take a beating, and then I learned how to be calm in the beating. And you start feeling yourself a little bit, and you start, okay, I got this, And, you know, for a while, I was the guy when some new cocky big motherfucker would come in the gym, my instructor would be like, you roll with them because I'm very unimpressive looking. And then I would destroy them and that would humble them. Great. I feel good about myself. You know, I'm awesome. Like, this is great. And I remember even a couple of years, it was 2017. Finally, I did an IBJJF. Finally, after years of coming back from my back injury. And I remember in preparation for that tournament, and for those who don't know, IBJJF is like the biggest show fight you can do with a gi on. I mean, I'm on a mat, and right next to me is Keenan Cornelius. Mm-hmm. I'm standing in the urinal, and there comes in one of the Meow brothers pissing right next to me. Like,
yeah, it's an experience. Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu. In the camp for that fight, I was overweight. I was like way overweight, but whatever. I was doing 15-minute death rolls where for 15 minutes, those who don't know, every minute a new person comes in, you stay rolling, you stay sparring, but at 60 seconds, a fresh body comes in. I was hanging for 15 minutes. I felt like I got this. Then I get to the mat. It's tournament day. It's fight day. By the time I got onto the mat, my heart rate was at like 120 beats per minute. And within about the first 40 seconds, after about 40 seconds, my nose went numb. I could feel my face tingling, and I had lost my grip. My hands were white, gone. I lost on points. And what happened? So what happened? 18 minutes of sparring, of enduring whatever. It ain't fucking real. Now, I'm not saying an IBJJF tournament is real violence. I'm saying it's the next level up of an experience that had emotional context to it. Mm-hmm. I was not rolling with a bunch of guys at the gym. I was on the stage. I was in the big show. It meant a lot to me. Here's a stranger I don't know who's coming out to fucking kill me. The adrenaline, the emotion, I fucking gasped in a 6-minute match when I had just done 15 and 18-minute death rolls. If you don't, and we're not even talking about a real fight yet, guys. We're not talking about a parking lot. He's not going to kill me. There's a referee. If you don't know what that experience is like, how can you take a dog through the sparring? You're the same decoy every day. You're the guy building that dog, building that dog, building that dog. You can put all the pressure you want. My sparring partners were catch wrestlers who were brown and black belts in jiu-jitsu. They beat the fuck out of me.
Yep.
I froze on a mediocre opponent who I had higher technical ability than, and he beat me. So if you don't understand the levels of what emotion and experience plays in combat and how it impacts the body through hormonal activity, how can you take a dog off your trial field that he shows up every Thursday and Sunday for with the same guy and you do the same bites, and you wonder why he's going to fail on a brand new decoy, let alone a real fight against a home invasion, and that motherfucker's high on PCP and he ain't fucking scared of dogs.
Yep. And he ain't rewarding no bites.
The exact same thing that humans go through. They know when it's real and they know when it's not. And if you don't prepare them strategically and incrementally through those phases, how can you expect them to perform? And how can you do that if you've never done it yourself? I'm going to take a drink now. That's my soapbox.
So I completely, and like, this is obviously like Katie, we talk about this all the time, and like something we 100% I agree with you on. It's like, for example, like, you know, for obviously for people who maybe like not know like who I am, like obviously I've boxed professionally for a while. I fought mixed martial arts. I was in prison for you know fighting and actually experiencing violence and all this other stuff. So like I've seen both those things, but and like that's like the clarity in which like we try to train our dogs in. That's like be okay being not okay, and also understand like when to like when it is time to like put it on and what those feelings feel like, and be able to manipulate almost your own behavior as a decoy to like, you know, to show fear, to show power, to show aggression, to show violence, to show these things, and to show the dog in a controlled way where you can actually reward the dog in those experiences and manipulate drives. And like you said, like, you know, like almost like hormones, like just how you express yourself. Because I mean, like, one of the first books I ever read was about, like, you know, dogs communicate on like paralanguage, which was like, you know, the way that you express yourself, like an energy based thing. And I always thought about that. I was like, you know, if I, you know, when I walked into a ring, it would be like, all right, cool. I'm just going to be calm, you know, try to create myself just a really calm, you know, thought process as I go into this. I mean, I even like, you know, going into a dog, like working with the dog, working with law enforcement, stuff like that, just be calm, but obviously be able to manipulate those. And this is probably harder. This is harder to describe for people who don't understand it, but like, you know, how do you manipulate what's real and then what's not real, and then teach the dog those things, and then be able to like mark the positives for us. Obviously, like, this is something like, you know, not being a decoy and a dog trainer, like, it's a little harder to understand, but like, these are things that like you have to like kind of always transition through as a, you know, a decoy, to teach the dog like, hey, like, this is real life, like, this is what can possibly happen, but also make it something that's progressional when you're actually training the dog. And like, that's like what I teach all my decoys. So when we go through, it's hard to teach them if they don't understand it, but I mean, we try to do our best. And I put all my decoys through the stress test of seeing what they can deal with, real pain and real violence, and go from there.
Well, okay, that brings me back to what I really wanted to talk to Frass about.
Yep.
And this is with Frass. I love how conversations and dialogues do that. So I'm going to give you the jiu-jitsu, and if you haven't figured out already, I'm not a jiu-jitsu fanboy. You know, I'm very objective. I chose it because it made the most sense for me. I have small hands. I wasn't going to be a striker. You know, let me grapple.
But you deal with realistic shit, because training dogs, I mean, just like, you know, I know Mike, and I've seen, like, literally, and not blowing smoke up his ass. I like Mike when the first time I met him, but when I walked in the facility, and do understand, I grew up in the Middle East. We had 3 German Shepherds. Okay, so when I explained living in the Middle East, different mind, you know, our 3 dogs, I've witnessed our 3 dogs eat up somebody. I mean, somebody jumped the fence, it got tore apart. It was death is kind of a thing there. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Shit happens. Different rules, different set. So we had a dog trainer, and I remember watching him train him. So, but then let me differentiate. He comes to us and train these dogs to kill. So that's one. But when I went Mike and I just saw the facility, I was just amazed, you know, just looking about the things to do. So, but I already grew up around watching how these dogs get trained and that reality base in it. So, I mean, that's why when what you guys talking about, it makes sense and it falls into part. That's why when you talk about, I didn't get into part of this, but I'm just gonna no. But what do? You already have that common sense. I call it. It's not common sense, but for us people that deal, yeah, you understand.
Well, you know, there are the people who are like the fanboys who are like, well, jiu-jitsu is everything. No, it is what it is. So here's my perspective, my limited perspective on Krav based on the people I've interacted with.
Oh, go ahead. And by the way, don't worry about my feelings being hurt, because I'm going to give you stories. You're going to beam up to here with smiling. Well, I'll tell you my introduction to Krav and how I wiped the fuck out of a bunch of them, but let's go.
It's always been, we'll just kick him in the nuts. And everything is kicking the nuts. And I went to a Krav school when I was picking what I was going to do after I lost that fight. I went to a combat Hapkido school, whatever. And then I went to a Krav school, and then I went to the jiu-jitsu school. And I stuck with jiu-jitsu. But what I got from Krav was a lot of, I don't want to say fake violence, but it was marketed as the closest to violence you can get, which is why
scenario shit. It's fake scenario shit. If he grabs you here, you do here, and yeah.
And my issue was, and why I stuck with jiu-jitsu was, you will perform in a real situation as close to what you train as. And what I liked about jiu-jitsu was it allowed us to train these moves at a very high intensity, and there wasn't any choreography. Like, hey, let's roll, like let's go. And you always had the tap to prevent injury. And then when I looked at Krav, I was like, well, there's an intent. Like, how do I practice eye gouges? How do I practice these fatal, deadly moves without killing my fucking sparring partner? Therefore, if I don't get to practice them at a high enough intensity, how can I expect to do it in the real world when it's intense? And help me out with that, because I know I already know in the hour we've been together, you're not the guy that I've met at the other Krav schools. So you're the perfect person to help me out with this understanding of this, how the intensity of training versus the lethal moves, and help me.
Yeah. All right. Let me give you a background how I got introduced to it, which you guys as fighters and grapplers will appreciate. So I've heard, do understand, I come in from judo, and it's judo jiu-jitsu back then when we did it. So a lot of this. When I learned bodyguarding, I learned it in England. I was living in England by the time, and I went there. And do understand, judo, no matter what, and it bothers me personally. Mike watches a lot of my video, and he sees the throws that I show and sacrifice throws. I'm so comfortable with it. I'm doing it since 8 years old. Like, people's like, how the fuck you sacrifice yourself for a throw, you know? But it comes natural when you train it young. You're gonna, if I'm gonna get a 40-year-old to do it, I'm like, no, just don't do it. So I am very comfortable as I'm growing up by throwing someone on their head without me risking my body, how it goes. Does that mean I can get a 40-year-old woman to do it? You got to weigh in, okay? So I come from that background. The only combat I got into was not MMA, it was Muay Thai. And the Muay Thai, when I learned it, it was also the mix of the Muay Thai where I grab somebody's leg, I'm dropping my elbow on their knee. Not the Muay Thai we have it here. You see how the difference of the intent. So
this is block, this is parry, this is slip.
Mm-hmm. So the difference that was built in me was intent of injuring, disabling someone. Growing up, I got to differentiate a little bit this, but do understand the background I came from and the country I was living. So fast forward, when my introduction to Krav, I was a big fucking sucker nerd for Boss Rudin. I don't care what people say to him.
How can you not be? That guy's fucking cool.
Right? Like, exactly. How can you be in the fight business and not love Boss? Yeah. So I see him, he's doing this bing, bing, bing stuff, and he's
bing,
like,
bing, bing.
and it's like bing and bang. I'm like, so came an opportunity. He was coming to town here. When I moved here, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to go see him. But he came in to do a Krav seminar. So already I'm in like, fuck these Krav guys. This is me. I hated it because all these balls and shit. I'm like, really? Met him and just saw him because he's in Krav. He is one of the people that legitimized it in the beginning as a fighter.
He mainstreamed it.
Yep. Thanks, Mike. He did it.
Yeah, he mainstreamed. I remember that.
I was watching my idol hitting a fucking kick pad and cotton coming out of it. The stuffing coming. I'm like sitting there eating. So I saw that. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm kind of sold on it. Not sold on it. I'm there for Boss. Fuck all y'all. Down the road, I heard about this Krav thing, and there's a big seminar. Get certified. If you have these backgrounds, we get you in. So I went the old school way, which is called the cleaner. You walk in, 100 people walking in. They get these guys that have background in being police, military shit, and hundreds apply. TKD, karate, and all this, and they do the first wipeout. I was back then in shape, and literally they do the fucking worst warm-up on earth that lasts like 4 hours almost. And people just pass. If you don't pass that, you don't get into the instructor level. Okay? So I got into it. Passed that out, smoked people. Rumor went out. I was already a wrestler and a grappler back then, and started just doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu before I went to Brazil. And that's where I met my master first and got into the gi. I'm a no-gi guy, wrestler. You put a gi on me, you just wrestle the fuck out of me back then. And I never believed in it, other than when I did my judo, because in England, we use the jackets. It's a cold country. So that's when the gi made sense. But we wore gis on shorts, almost like Sambo, because we had to affect it on pants. It wasn't, I'm going to grab. So it was a different mentality. So I went to this Krav place, and I felt I was a target because I'm the grappler. Did their third fucking degree, and you're going to love this, KD, because you talk about the hits and the balls. This dude was, sparring moments came. I fucking hit him, went in, shoot, got his back. I'm turning range. This motherfucker hammer fist my fucking groin like 15, 20 times. I didn't stop. I'm like, all right. Like, bang, bang, bang. And here's their second degree Krav Maga black belt. I'm like, all right, motherfucker. I just put him to sleep. Put him out. Landon pushed him off and kind of looked around and just kind of adjusted my fucking shit. And I'm like, God damn, asshole. It hurts later. But here we go. It wasn't a fight stopper, by the way. That's their second degree black belt Krav Maga wushu guy. So they kicked me out. They said, this guy's not right for this shit discussion. I'll be a teacher. I'm like, I just put one of your fucking guys to sleep. I could have killed him if I wanted to. If I didn't let go, I would have just done. I mean, I look at the mentality when I learned it tapping, I got killed. That's the mentality it came from. I tapped an armbar, my arm got snapped. I tapped a choke, this dude killed me. That was my mentality. That's how I do it. So why I'm getting to this, I'm telling you why my Krav is different. So this dude walked in, watched me, and I attended one of his seminars. Looked like a 7-foot giant. I think, Mike, you've seen my coach, what I always post about him, Nick Hughes.
Yeah.
Big giant Australian. French Foreign Legionnaire. He was on the show. If you go Google Spike TV, The Deadliest Warrior, he was on it, representing the French Foreign Legion. He came to me and hummed words in Arabic. I looked at him and was like, the fuck, who are you? You know? So he introduced himself, and he was a bodyguard, and he was also a bodyguard for the royal family. He knows how to speak Arabic, and me and him sparked an interest. He knew already I was disgusted by this shit. And he's like, I'm going to show you combatives and what Krav really is. Krav Maga is a contact combat. It's combatives, unarmed military combatives, before people make up this whole shit, which got classified here as Krav, whatever. Come from Israel. I got Israeli friends that do it, but it got really milked in America. So anyway, all right. Met with him and started watching his training. I'm like, then I find out he was black belt in Japanese jiu-jitsu, black belt in judo. So he knew how to communicate with me, and it sparked an interest. So I went under his wing, even though I was working for that or other organization, because they needed a grappler and a kickboxer back in the day to work with their Krav guys, and I used to wipe them the fuck out. So anytime I notice I take one of the Krav guys to the floor, they're fucked. They're done. Like, they have no idea how to fight on ground. Don't get me wrong, their basic shit might help somebody survive. I'm talking pre-UFC era. When I jumped in the scene and I started getting a little bit famous here, and a lot of quoted me, I do believe, and I've said it back in 2010, I said, we live in a UFC era right now. Any dumb fuck out there want to put a rear naked choke on you or some choke. Even if they don't do it correctly, a civilian is going to get choked out. What is a choke? It's a strangle. And I mean, you don't have to grab them this way. An arm around here, yank it hard. What's going to happen? Let's be honest. You get a young buck, watch UFC fights, get his arm around a lady. What do you think is going to happen to her?
Yeah, you want to sleep?
So, sleep, that, snap the neck, even if they put her in a shitty headlock, you're going to snap. It's easy to do that. So I started watching that, and I started paying attention, and I seen what they lacked. They never prepped, which I got from my Muay Thai grappling catch, the fucking putting people pressure testing. Don't get me wrong, Krav has amazing art when it comes to disarms and all that. But when
the weapon work, the knife work, the gun work.
Yep. But they have also dumb shit that never evolved. So when I got in with my coach, he also gave me the freedom and respect. He was not the egotistical. That guy has like a list of a plethora of books and I'm blessed. Honestly, what succeeded me, I'm blessed with no ego mentors. For my grappling, for my dad, mentors that have done it and don't have. And my mentor, Nick Hughes, was always believed to me see the way, but also watch him as he teaches me certain things of his mind when it comes to combatives, you know? So I started watching and paying attention, and I'm comparing it to my real life scenario, and I'm paying attention. I'm like, man, people go for takedowns. But the fight scene has changed. And this is when you go talk about, they think, boom, hit a guy in the balls. Now I'm going to teach you, say something, not teach you guys. Do you know when you really, and I tell this to my students, when I do an intro, basic intro for Krav Maga, and I tell them, do you know when you can really injure a man in the balls? Only two situations. If they are not expecting it, fully relaxed, and use it. I mean, remember us in high school? One guy goes in and boom, hits you in the nuts, and you're like, motherfucker, and you bend over and it hurts. Or if he's aroused, a rape scenario, and you hit a dude in it, they'll get their balls on. But if me and you are in a fight, you're not going to hurt me. You're not going to hurt me.
I will second that. I did a pancreation fight shit, and the dude kneed me in the balls. And usually, and this is obviously on Drinks and Dogs, this is gonna be amazing. Usually when that happens, I gotta go take a shit. So I didn't have to shake it out. Sat there real quickly, and there's probably a YouTube video of this somewhere where I was just like, God damn it. But I did in San Francisco. Dude kneed me in the balls, completely fine. Thank you, Kyle Van Danrop, for hitting me in the balls and proving this point for this episode of Drinks and Dogs. Go ahead.
And when I train the women, I even warn them, do not go fucking kick a dude immediately in the balls. If that's going to be, if it's already, there's a confrontation, you're going to take him from level 10 rage to 1,000. He will fucking kill you. I warn him. We teach it, but it is not the end all of fights. And I'm going to go back to KD. This is really my answer to it. It is not. And I'm going to tell you, if you go ask any doctor anything, you're not going to injure someone in the groin only in these two situations. If they're fully aroused or unexpected, just standing there and you just go, boom, hit them. But you've seen it in the UFC fights. They come in and they shake their pants and sit down for a minute or that. The fight's not done, man. The fight's not done. And they live in this philosophy, hit the guy in the balls or he grabs you like this. And no, it's not realistic. And the problem is, also, you're faced with these, and I think KD might understand this when he sees, if you look at the list of these instructors that are out there, and what Krav made its fame, it became a salesman pitch. And they say is, you got a karate background, taekwondo background, blah, 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 blah. We'll come and certify you in a weekend, pay $1,500. You're a certified instructor under our fucking affiliation. They took this from the CrossFit module, by the way. If anybody understands how those, same thing. Think about the CrossFit injuries. Let's be honest. I mean, people are going to get pissed off. Fuck it up. Necks, shoulders, back. I got one of our jiu-jitsu instructors. He just became a black belt a couple of months ago. 20 years he's been a personal trainer. He's also been in Krav, Muay Thai. He did Pin Korean fighters, so he understands that. You should see the list of people he writes down about the injuries of CrossFit. Look at the fucking trainers. You pay a fee. You get certified. Suddenly you're a fucking trainer. These are the same people that you give your life under that teach you also self-defense.
Sounds like dog training in 2020.
Holy shit, guys. Is that what's going on with you guys too?
Oh,
it's been going on, brother. It's been going on.
Like I said, I'm new to it, but I'm surprised. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up.
Oh, it's been going on, dude.
I'm sorry.
My fat bulldog is going to be they expect my fat bulldog to be an attack dog, right?
It's been going on. It's been there for a long time. As far as what we've experienced. But I mean, like, basically, I mean, when it comes to self-defense, and when it comes to actually working with a person, and going in through it, this is the whole thing, what we've been talking about essentially is when you're in that moment and you're in that fight, Frass, you mentioned this too, when you have one of your apprentices, when they're in that, they freeze in that second, where they're just okay, we're here. Same thing can happen with dogs. And then, KD, you've, learning from one of the OGs, what happens when that happens? People get hurt, stuff bad happens, you know, you have to be able to be in the fight essentially. And this is another thing too, like, you know, obviously, like, for us, like, you know, this is more of a dog training question, but like, people talk about fight drive, and they mention this quite a bit, and everyone always kind of devalues. I don't. It's not a drive that's natural, and I feel like it's not drive.
I'm sorry, Mike. Can you, when you say fight drive, what they're talking about? Sorry, I mean, there's a lot of words out there, and I'm not being really ignorant about it. I want to understand, what does that mean?
So even in dog training, you know, fight drive is not necessarily a thing. You know, there's prey drive, there's a defensive drive that we work as helpers and handlers and decoys and all the stuff like that we're doing in front of the dog. For me, and this is just something I've classified myself, and Katie, you might have the same thing. Fight drive for me is like, after 2 minutes on the bite and I'm fighting with the dog, how much do they want to stay in that? Like, how much do they want to accomplish the goal of disabling me? So for me, that's a drive that, you know, obviously it's not a real, I mean, it's not a real thing per se, but it's something that we're working through. So it's like, you know, for, you know, when we're in the ring, for example, you know, let's say boxing, if I'm boxing for somebody for 12 rounds and, you know, I'm getting my ass whooped for 6 or something like that, or, you know, 3 or whatever, you know, it's that consistency, it's that thought process that I'm not going to lose. Like, I have to fight through it. Like, I have to get this. I have to win that. It's that built drive, I guess that would be, or what I would classify that as.
May I?
Go for it.
Frass, think of that guy who comes into the gym who doesn't know anything. He doesn't have any skills. You get him in the ring, you smack him around a little bit, and you see him smirk. He doesn't know anything. He's losing. He's outskilled. But every time you hit him, he fucking smirks a little bit.
Yeah, that mentally fucks you.
That's fight drive. That's the guy who every time you hit him, he gets more aroused. He can't win because you've outskilled him. But he's, every time you put that pressure on him, every time you escalate, he brings something back. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he actually smiles in the fight.
You guys even see that in dogs when you guys train them? You will have a dog just like that?
Oh, yeah. Now they're unicorns, but yeah.
And
that's
the
what
thing,
Mike's talking about, fight drive.
Do we call that primal? Is that a primal instinct? What do you guys think?
I think it's a genetic response to just how the dogs are just like inclined. Like, for me, like, I build it in a lot of dogs. Like, you know, it's just something we build through different, like, just kind of manipulating drives and like just working them through like the hard points and making sure they go from there. Like, you know, I'll put a dog on a bite and I'll wait there for a little bit, work them a little bit, go from there. And then you get the dogs who just don't give a shit. Like Mitt Frass, like the one when I split my face open. You know, like those are like, that was already like, that dog already had, I didn't need to create any of that because that dog was already a psychopath. But like, you know, like the other ones, like, you know, you build it into them. But like, you know, what Katie said, it's just, those are the unicorns sometimes, you know, those are the ones that you see and you're like, damn, like that's there. But I feel like a lot of it, and like Katie, like, you know, being on the dog training side, like you can see how it can be built by manipulating drives, fighting with them, rewarding certain things, building, you know, incrementally on the pressure and building that fight drive. But also,
I disagree with you.
What'd you say, Katie?
I disagree with you.
Finally, we have a disagreement.
It happened. It finally happened. I disagree with you. You don't understand, Frass. Like, this guy and I, like, every time we talk, it's a fucking validation conversation.
Literally, we jerk each other off the whole entire time.
I'm so excited to finally disagree with Mike Jones. Like, this is epic.
Awesome.
Let's have it.
I don't think you can build. I don't believe. My current position is you can't build fight drive. It's what you're building is something else. You're building resilience. You're building the desire.
Now we fucking agree again. I quit. Steve, this is fucking end of episode. Now Now we agree with each other. This is over. All right. I feel like we just had like a certain like part where we're like, oh, it doesn't. You
Man,
know,
we
like
did
that,
something
but
new in the country. You disagreed and agreed.
hey, that's what fucking Oh, we're about to get in some other political. Katie, I'm sorry for interrupting you, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, what we were saying. Katie Matthews, my friends. Go ahead.
Fight drive. They either have it or they don't. And I go back to the analogy of the guy, the inexperienced guy who walks in the gym and gets smacked around. He's losing, but he's smiling because there's something in him where he's like, "Oh, motherfucker, you hit me. I know I can't beat you, but fuck you. I'm gonna swing back."
Yeah.
That is I believe that is an inherent genetic trait that's either there or not. I believe what you're discussing, what you're referencing as far as building, is you can build a tolerance to pain, you can build a tolerance to pressure, and you can build that through teaching them how to overcome it. That's not fight drive. That's teaching skills, that's teaching tolerance, that's teaching strategies on how to deal with something that previously you were uncomfortable with. That is completely different than an inherent genetic trait that says, yeah, fuck you back. Yeah. Like that is who they are. And they have varying degrees of it, but you work with that, but you don't build that. What you're actually building is something completely separate. You're not building fight drive. You're building how they deal with their emotions, how they deal with the violence, how they deal with blah, 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 blah. My current position, always open to change it.
Yep.
You know,
yeah, I think that's building people too. I think like that's something that obviously, like, you know, we all have different terminologies and different perspectives and things that we do. And like, I feel like that's something that, you know, I 100% agree with the fact that like some people are just built and some dogs are just built to just, oh, like that's fun. Like, you know, my buddy in Ireland who, you know, Graham O'Reilly, Ireland Canine, like, you know, he's an extreme, he's Pete Sommers, old school, like, you know, Cane PB Lions, like they want the dog to be gnarly as shit with the handler, with the decoy, with all this stuff. And it's just some form of like, even the dogs I get from him, like there's just so much like, there's fight in there. And like, you know, people hate the fucking, you know, especially in dog training, people hate fight drive and all stuff like this. That's prayer defense or blah, 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 or whatever it may be. But there's just that little, like you say, Katie, like smack them in the face. They're just like, hey, that was arousing. Like, like that was there. And that's the same thing with people. I mean, like there's a certain level of like, once you get into that pressure point, it just makes them just go harder. And like, that's like, I 100%, again, we agreed, we disagreed for like 5 seconds.
We had a moment.
We had one moment, but then it also came back. And I feel like that was just verbal miscommunication. But like that's the same thing with dogs. Like, you know, with us, we build the resilience with them, and like even so, like Katie, let's even talk about this. Like let's involve the handler. If I'm fighting with the dog and I pin a handler down on the floor, the response to that, what the handler does, how they are protective of their dog, as well as fighting for themselves. So like that's the concept that a lot of people don't talk about, and it's not actually online at all, which is surprising to me. Only reason why I don't post is because I don't want to get in more trouble in my own county with fighting with people like that. But I mean, that's a big thing. You know, I mean, think about the way that people, the energy that people feel. Yeah. Like if a dog's on me, or you know, your dog's on me, and I'm fighting you, and what's that response like? How, like, what would you classify that as, Katie?
I don't know how to. To me now, I don't know how to classify it, but I start talking about or thinking about bonding. Like that's part of the pack mentality. That's part of, you know, the idea of truly building a camaraderie, a bond between a team. And it's no different in humans than it is with the human and the dog. You can have somebody, and I use this example when I talk about bonding and trust with my students, my pet client students. I'm like, okay, for the last 10 years, every Monday night you went to the bar and you watched Monday Night Football. I mean, I don't do that. I don't worship the accomplishments of men who don't care about me, but some people do. You know, and
Was
you
that a
know,
slight like dig? Like it was like
every Monday night you go watch Monday Night Football, and there's this guy who's there for the past 10 years. You buy him a beer, he buys you a beer. You guys are friends. And then on one night, some young bucks come in and they decide to start some shit. Needless to say, you get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Some other guy who you've never met before sees you outnumbered 3-1, and he jumps in there with you, and you both get the shit kicked out of you because it's 3-2. You still fucking lose. But like, you're better friends with that guy than the guy who's been buying you beers and talking bro stories with you for 10 years. Why?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you went through some shit together and he had your fucking back. And when I had my first experience with this with the OG, and you know, I had a Malinois who I was just my first real Malinois, my first adult who I wasn't getting bit by, well, at least not intentionally. Like I was actually supposed to be his handler. And we had just become kind of friends, and we did some bite work with you know who, and I send the dog, and he's looking at me while the dog's hanging on. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Your dog's in a fight. What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then he comes up and hits me and grabs me. He's like, "Fucking fight me back." So now I jump in and I start fucking hitting him. The dog's biting him. After that, the dog who would tolerate me, who would accept me, was suddenly in between my legs, searching for affection, rolling over, like suddenly.
Man, that's fucking amazing.
Best friend after one fight where I backed him up and I engaged in the fight with him, and suddenly he's like, "Oh,
now we're best friends.
we're best friends now." So when you talk about involving handlers, you know, dogs are, again, I tell my pet students, how do you spell dog? You spell dog, highly social, opportunistic, predator, scavenger. Highly social means they understand the concept of in groups and out groups. They understand tribal mentality. They understand social hierarchy. And they understand home team and away team.
Yep.
They get it. And they understand that concept. That's why you can run one dog. But you ever notice that dog who's a cur in your neighborhood acts a whole lot different when there's another dog next to him? And now you got two dogs that are taking shots at you, and suddenly their arousal and their aggression levels rise. How many horrible situations in our society where people have been severely injured by dogs? It wasn't always one dog. It was two dogs. Because when they are together, they understand that they are together. And it increases their confidence level because they're social creatures, and that's valuable to them. So how is it that people can recognize that two dogs together feel stronger, but when we get into police canine, where they're supposed to be a team, and the handlers are dumbfounded when you like ask them to get involved in the fight?
Let's, before Katie proceeds on this, let's emphasize team. Supposed to be a team together handling something, because that's a problem that I've been dealing with this last week, and I'm pretty sure these people are still on here. So Katie, go ahead and go off on that one there.
The dogs get it. They get it just as much, if not more, than we get it, because we are plagued by all kinds of social and cultural obstacles, barriers to accepting the reality of nature. Dogs don't have that curse. They see it they see it clearer that you're with me? Cool. And then after that, I can only speak from my own experience. Here's a dog who barely tolerated me. Suddenly, after one session of bite work, was hyper affectionate. Like, what happened? I backed his ass up in a fight.
You're your dog's biggest advocate. You know, you're there to protect as well as they are too. The same thing. So that's the same thing you said. You're you're right there. That's your partner. It's your team member. It's who you're with. It's who you're doing things with. You go through the violence together. You see what being uncomfortable is with together. You get through it. You fight with them, and then you're in the fight. Obviously, there's different levels and all this other stuff that comes through it. Like if you're watching this and your dog's basically on a pillow, like don't start fighting your decoy and all this other all this other stuff. But
you'll have to excuse me.
There's a time and a place for it, and like that's a big thing too for us. Like when we talked about like bringing you down in here is, it's teaching people how to react to these high level stress situations, and do it properly. I mean, like there's videos that we posted where we're using jujitsu, we're using certain things to help the dog, help the person.
Yeah, I've watched
move out
that.
of the
I was
way.
amazed when you did that. I'm like, wow, man. I mean, to be honest with you, I did a shock moment to my students. Well, have you seen the video? Because I got a deal that I'm doing for effective self-defense, which is part of BJJ Fanatic. Every Wednesday, I kind of put a post about it. But did you see the video I did one of my assistants with? These guys that fight the choke is like a man grabbing you by your throat, you pluck it, and I was like, that's not gonna work. And I grabbed my assistant, put one of our women to the wall, and she fucking tapped on when he just choked the fuck out of her.
Oh, I didn't see that. I got to check that
Oh,
out.
okay. I'll send it to you right now to your Instagram to look at it. And
By
that
the way,
video,
we have a full-on team real quick, Froz.
Yes.
I need you guys on PCU to check out. There you go. They already checked you on the side. So
I'll send
let's get that
send
link.
it to them right now to the PCU Instagram.
And they'll post it on the side so you can see it.
Yeah. I'll shoot it to the PCU. They can post it there or something.
Yeah, they're posting it right now on the side. So we have a side thing that they're gonna be
yeah,
doing.
it's on my Instagram, my personal Instagram, but I'll find it right now. So anyway, I did a video, my black belt assistant, and also one of my first women black belts. He grabbed her like full on, grabbed her by the throat, banged the hell out of her in the wall. She tapped in seconds. So in Krav, they got this weird theory, and I think KD is seeing this. A man grabs your throat, you pluck, boom, kick him in the balls. So I debunked that by a real life stress inoculation kind of thing. I'm going to send you guys right now the video, and you see how it shot. I mean, it went viral, and I didn't do that in intention to debunk. I mean, yeah, I can't deny that. But I just want to, the thing is, I got high ethics when it comes to training. And like I tell my students, when I was a combative instructor in Fort Leavenworth, I did a training the guys in Leavenworth. And people need to understand Leavenworth, that's military prison. I am training military folks to inmates that are military. So you're dealing with another person that can kill the fuck out of you too. And that training, when we used to go in, bless him, Carl Bob Willis, like one of my favorite fucking bosses I ever had in my life, walked in, and he would tell me, it's like 5 in the fucking morning, he's like, murder him. And I look at him, I'm like, all right. His objective, he wants people puking and shit. But the thing is, I did a knife seminar last week. It was my first seminar in 2020, and everybody was just like their faces. I showed them what a knife can do, like literally how nobody even understood. I was like, if I disarm somebody, I got their back, how I fucking stabbed him in his asshole and just went to his ball sack, and everybody was like, ooh. It's like, guys, stabbing has its own world. And I laugh, and KD would tell me right now, they got this Krav where somebody comes in with a psycho wife stab, stop it, punch him.
It's the old In Living Color episode with Jim Carrey. I don't know if you guys remember that. No, come at me like this. And then the woman goes like, he's like, no, come at me like this. And then he kicks her ass.
KD, you gotta check my Instagram when I posted. Everybody walked out of cinema. Like when I do my seminars, people walk welted. Like Mike sees the shit I post.
That's why it's Krav Maga, not Krav Maga.
Yeah, I call it. And why I do it that way, it's not about being a hard ass, man. You know, these people coming and paying money, and knife. I'll tell you right now, firearms, scary as fuck. But here's two things: either the dude's gonna walk from the door and just blast us, we're dead. Nothing we're gonna do. I don't give a fuck what belts you got, whatever shit. Or if it was on my face threatening, if I'm able to disarm it. Dude, but a fucking knife, where it's going, it's cutting. There's a 9 or 13-year-old, I can't remember, that killed that fucking killed 3 adults with a kitchen knife. A kitchen knife.
Yep. I
And then
believe
again,
it.
there's a story. You get this guy. I saw a video, and it's horrific. If you ever Google knife attacks, you know, the human body is amazing in a way. It just depends. I don't know. Some people don't die, and some people die. This inmate survived. No, not survived. After 85 shanks, died. You're talking about his whole head got. I mean, I was watching the video. The dude is running and just getting stabbed the entire time, and I'm like, you know, it's just there's. I do believe there's the willingness of survival. It's in people
Absolutely.
when they want to survive, it just goes. But there's a limit, of course. Well, the body are like, all right, fuck, I'm done. You know? And there's people like, and when I teach my classes, especially the women classes, I get guys grab them by the throat nasty and say, cunt, bitch. And I tell them in the beginning, this is not to get anybody a hard on. This is what show you what violence is. Honest to God, guys, and Mike, about you guys that any have bouncing background that you'll understand this. I have seen people freeze from a dude that just verbally rape him. And they just freeze and the beating follows. And I do that in my classes. Like they will call bitch. I have no PC because this is violence. Again, when I go to KD, when he's talking about violence, like I see people 1, 2, and then if they grab here, you're gonna man, fighting is so retarded in a way. Like you get these guys with the wild. I've seen the best of the best get dropped from wild fight. I rather face someone that has the 1, 2 because all right, you know he got something, and me and him gonna go this. This wild hitter is the worst. It's like a wild card, and I've seen legitimately people get dropped by the dumbest hit, and they got dropped. Yep. And literally, you want to explain to Sally that lives in the suburbs that drives a soccer van. And you're putting it in a craft class in a weekend, and you're not putting her to the trenches. You think she's going to survive this shit? You have to be honest with it. And I remember when my coach, we went to this. I'm not going to bring the guy's name so he doesn't get a little bit triggered and go after us. But I remember we went into this big fucking martial arts academy thing and talking about certifying people. And we said to them about the training we do. And they said, you guys are going to bankrupt. I was like, excuse me? And my coach looked at him and was like, why? He's like, your theory of training will never make you money. And we said, we rather have 620 people that can fucking hang people like puppets and lie into the fucking community. And if you want to do self-defense, you can't lie. And I'm not saying beat the shit out of people, but I literally told some of them, if you go outside and you go against a trained person, let's say one of my students, because we have cross-training in my academy. I got jiu-jitsu, I got Muay Thai, I got MMA. And I push them. When they start getting higher rank, I was like, go. Start training with them. Go into, you have to do this. I have some students that said, when shit hit the fan, get out. Because if you go against somebody that trained and been in the ring, he'll fuck you up. And I'm being honest with them. I don't give a shit. I'll tell them. You get that person that got licked a couple of times in the face. I'm sorry. The regular John Doe that just trains 1, 2, 3 here is not going to stand a chance. And I will stand by this. Yeah, I'll stand. If you're going to pull a blade, a gun, or that's a whole different story once I get involved. And it's the same with jiu-jitsu people. And I said that a white belt, a legit blue belt can murder someone, a regular person in the street. Do we disagree?
No, I would say
legit jiu-jitsu blue belt can kill somebody outside if they want to. If he knows how to fucking duck or kick, because some of the jiu-jitsu guys need to know how to take, you don't worry about him. But here comes when KD was talking about why he liked jiu-jitsu, because of the fucking pressure training. That pressure at the end. And this is why, and I'm not patting just myself, maybe there's others out there, but the program that I developed, and even I specialize more now when I did the video with BJJ Fanatic about combat, I did the Krav Maga for streets, a close encounter for the ground. And I tell them, if you survive the first jaw dropping and the monkey thing we go through and a punch, you're going to go to the ground. You will, excuse me, the dog's going off again. Hey, so you will go to the ground and it's not going to get fun. And here's where I have my issue, Katie, and I think we will understand because you said you're not a nerd. And of course, Mike, the ground itself, it is not a one-on-one thing. Here's the problem with the ground. We got Blades. I saw a video. I am not a fan of arm bars, by the way. Not a fan streetwise. Okay.
It's a low percentage move.
Thank you. First of all, I'm too connected with the person. I saw a video in Australia. The dude got him in an armbar. Perfect armbar. Man, that dude he stomped the dude's face as he's been in a standing armbar, got a blade, and just gutted him. That's why I'm not a fan of certain things when it comes to that. That's why when I teach my grappling for the street, total different animal out of that. You got blades, guns, and then you got the buddies. Have you seen a fight that just ended up one-on-one these days? Here we go. You answer that question with your facial expression. This is where now the sports lacks. And some of the self-defense mentality with where we live in, especially now. Come on, guys, look at the news. You know, I'm not getting political. I'm just talking about winding up at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's not one-on-one. Never be one-on-one. And you're not going to be the Bruce Lee. You're going to knock down 20 people. Bro, get the fuck out of there. Get the fuck out of there. Look at what
this is where, as I got older, much older, you know who I went back to in my quest for knowledge and when I'm YouTubing, and I finally appreciate him when I didn't appreciate him years ago? Hickson.
Oh, I love Hickson. His reality-based.
You kind of go through this thing. You get into jiu-jitsu. You saw Hickson in the UFC. You didn't know who he was. He's a badass. So you signed up at a UFC at a jiu-jitsu school. You got into jiu-jitsu. You started learning flying arm bars and barambolos and lasso guard and
Berimbolo, which is also, if you're into real combat, if you do a berimbolo in real combat,
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, Katie. Sorry for interrupting.
You go through that. And
get out of that one.
You realize that it's all horse shit and it will get you killed in the fucking street. And then you stumble upon something from Hickson that you haven't watched in 10 years, and it means something different now that you're older. If you watch Hickson, I watched a seminar where he had a purple belt stand up. He goes, purple belt, stand up. And he goes, I just want you to hold your ground. Just stand, just stand. And he goes up to that purple belt, he pokes him. And the guy stand. He goes, no, don't move. Don't move. Get your base. And he goes, oh. And the guy's like all over it. And he goes, okay, sit down. He goes, guys, this guy is great. Thank you for coming up. He is a purple belt. Do you realize that jiu-jitsu is a book this big and all you know is a chapter? Because you can't even stand up while someone is touching you, because you learned sport jiu-jitsu. You learned this takedown. You learned this. You can't even stand while I push you. You're not, your feet, the soles of your feet are not into the ground. That is jiu-jitsu. That is what my father taught, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, and it's, you guys know this chapter.
Yep.
I was like, mind blown. Like, oh my gosh, I need to go back to my roots. I need to go, learn Hickson isn't into arm bars. What did Hickson always do? Choke.
Guillotines. Choke. That's why I don't even know which one it is. It's this one. That's why the guillotine's there.
Yep. There we go. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I got a dog. Mine's cooler than yours, dude.
Here's the thing.
It is much cooler. Way cooler than
I teach my self-defense when it comes to Krav. I teach a lot of chokes. I, of course, and neck cranks especially with teaching how to really snap it if you want to. But I teach them also the legal ramification, because a lot of people forget. You're not gonna walk in and just go boom, hit somebody on the elbow. I won the fight. I was like, it's coming back to haunt you. You got to be careful. And this is where they forget. And especially also, and I'm not against guns on any of this, but a lot of people think I'm going to buy an AR and wave it. In Missouri, the state I live in, we got these two idiots that pull their guns and start waving at everybody. Look at the indictments they're going through. Look at the hell they're going through. I have a podcast with my partner. My partner went online and said, these guys are fucked. And everybody jumped him. He was right. And a lot of people don't understand, not all you think I'm gonna pull my fucking gun and get out of the situation, or I'm gonna knock someone out just because he got in my face, it's gonna I'm gonna be cleared. And I'll give you an example. I just saw this weekend working at the bars again. Two guys got into it. I grabbed one of them, socked them out, throw them out. I got out. Suddenly, cops everywhere. The area we're in got cameras everywhere, and the cameras start talking to me. You roughed him. I was like, I threw him out. I got cameras inside of what he did. He's like, all right, just hold on here. So when I threw him out, he got into somebody's face. All he did, he got into somebody and did this. Shove. They booked him in front of me. And I looked and I was like, oh, what just happened? He assaulted him. I'm like, ooh. Not a lot of people teach that. And this is when I'm just talking about self-defense. Laying your hand on someone, even like this, shoving and shit, it depends on the police. Man, they'll book you and they can pull that on you. Then
That's actually how it ended up in prison.
Huh?
That's actually how it ended up in prison. So we'll go through the clip stories of this.
Yeah.
But I ended up I was a professional boxer. I mean, obviously, was a professional boxer. Got into a fight outside, knocked a couple guys out. Two of them ended up dying. One went be a paraplegic later because the fight kept going. But I got in trouble with manslaughter because I didn't stop and I was defending myself, but yet I kept going. So there was and I ended up getting off of it. Also, there's stuff like that just because there was concealed footage and stuff like that the DA didn't do. But that you have to understand, and this is the same thing when it comes to dogs. You have to understand what the legal ramifications of those are. And one, bite patterns, Katie, this. If a dog just does that doesn't show control. Same thing with the person. If the chokes, for example, that we're talking about, when you're holding somebody to hey, calm the fuck down. We're good. This, dude. I faced life. Actually, I went to prison for life for 26 punches.
Yeah, and it's good, and I hope the crowd heard this because really, and KD, let's be honest, you're doing jiu-jitsu. Mike, you've done combat sports and you teach it. I've seen you doing seminars. I got to school. I do believe people like us have to remind students by this, by the way. And a lot of people think, I might be overboard with things. When I do my rank test, I do a written test. And it's not, my written test consists of legal questions of each level, to be honest with you. Because as I train from my coach, I do believe we have the ethical tied to this. We have to. Remember, I mean, it's the same with you guys with dogs. I'm today learning things from you guys, and I'm like, holy shit. It just blew my mind. How the relationship when it comes to even self-defense on a dog. I had no clue some of this stuff. And like I said, I grew up with 3 German Shepherds that ate a person. But then again, I was a kid, and my dad had these, but look where we live. Of course, here's a whole different story. And the problem is, and I keep referencing KD because he explains about his experience walking in a craft gym, you just can't go blitz someone in the balls, and it's like, I defended myself. Well, you got to prove that shit. Why the fuck did you pull this off? What happened? Where are we at with it? And also, it's a different when Sally kicks me in the balls than me, even if Sally's jaw dropping on me, and I go fucking react with it. And I even tell our students, when we do our self-defense fence, we don't do this, we do this. And some of them ask me why. I was like, the person that's driving by, looking, sees me doing this, even though I'm defending myself, and he could be that fucker's the instigator that's just coming up. I am the one that started it in their eye. But if I'm doing this with my hands up, what does that view to the local person or the camera up there?
Perception is reality.
Yep.
And the problem is they don't teach this, unfortunately. Somebody grabs you, you're going to do this, then you're going to hit this, then you're going to, I'm like, oh, fuck. You are going to get them in trouble. I love violence. Trust me, I grew up around it. But I do think we're tied with a lot of things we have to educate the crowd, which you two gentlemen do.
As you've seen, you guys probably, I don't know who you guys follow my personal page, but my daughter, I teach her boxing and she's 6 years old. And the first instinct I taught her when she was 3, I was like, we're here, and then you go here. like open hand, closed hand. I always like old school and stuff
There
like
we
that.
go.
But subconsciously, what I was teaching her was like, hey, back up, and then they
Absolutely.
come in. That's why she learned check hooks and pull back counter twos and all this other stuff very young. Just because like that was like the whole thought process. Like, you're not the bully. You're the one that's gonna back up, back up, back up, back up. All right, you're messing up. Pop, pop. There's your issue. But like that's the same. I love the fact that you said that for us, because that was one of the bigger intentions like that.
But plus, even Mike, even self-defense, you as a boxer, parry. When we do this, how the fuck you parrying? And this is where
smack.
where the skills of, and no disrespect to boxing, I adore, and my background is dirty boxing. Love fucking dirty boxing night and day. But also, training with gloves is kind of different when we use the knuckles and the hands. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of different. I see when somebody punching, I see him do this, I'm like, oh, Lord, we got to fix that thumb or it's going to fucking suck if you miss that. Here we go.
Down this way.
Exactly, 100%. And it's the same when I say this, I tell him he can parry, and this can turn to a punch so easily, or however you want to flip it. And the scary part, until this day, we're talking 2020, as much as a weird year it is, I still see videos online, and I'm like, man, the younger me used to go and jump and talk about this. I was like, oh, whatever. You want to die, go die.
Getting old, Froz. Getting old.
Yeah. At 42, I mean, I had a mini stroke one day, and I'm half blinded in one eye. I'm like, I don't need this. Yeah, let it go. Let it go.
Dude, it's all day, man. Like that's, I mean, again, going back to like the whole point of drinks and dogs, and what we're talking about is personal protection in general, with dog, without dog, understanding levels of stress inoculation, which is a huge thing on dogs and people inside, and just and then the importance, especially what you just said, Froz, just 20, like we're in a level of a world, we're in a world where now, like, this is really important. That should be happening. People should be taking consideration of, understanding what is personal protection, what is cardio kickboxing. Because you go and you hit a fucking punching bag, or, like KD, what is Krav Maga? What is Froz Maga?
And honestly, you know what I do for my guys? Sorry to cut you guys off. I'm not good, but KD, I'm giving him time. One thing I do for my students every now and then, one of our students, his kids are in jiu-jitsu. He's a criminal defense attorney. I also pay him to do a seminar in my gym every now and then. And all my students after class will end up doing this about breaking down the law. And I have to go that far because these are my students. You are paying me. I have to make it true to you, because I do not want to have my student call us like, well, coach, I just hit the guy with an elbow like you told me, and now I'm in prison with Bobby and all these guys looking at me. What am I going to do? I'm like,
before, and hold that statement real quick, as Froz, like, obviously, Rosh, like, we started this gym, and I was teaching them, like, all this other stuff. But I told them, I was like, understand, like, I learned like Mexican style boxing. Everything was fine. I got into a fight. I ended up using this style of boxing that I used, and I ended up facing life in prison. Like, I was like, so understand, like, everything that you're doing is a form of defense, not as a proactive measure to fight somebody. So, scaling back, using counters, like, that's the big thing why I teach a lot of counter movements when it comes to, fighting, is to understand, like, it's a form of defense. It's not a forward movement type of a thing. So even when I was teaching over, at Arash's gym, I was always just like, dude, I was like, you have to understand, like, manage the mind. It's not just, because I have this skill set, I'm going to go ahead and just apply it to people who are just being a dickhead who talk shit to me. It's more of the fact of, like, hey, like, this person's trying to attack me. I need to learn how to use it in this way. And, like, these are the implications of having that skill set, because two punches can put you in prison forever. Oh, yeah. or elbows or whatever, or choke, or
brother. I mean, I have seen when I brought this attorney to talk to the students. His name is Rick Johnson. I love him to death. Rick Johnson, but and he even spoke of a dude that punched someone. The dude took a step back, fell on his head, died.
Yep.
He was the one instigating. He's the one that threw the first hit.
Yep.
That dude got fucked the other one. And you see all my students' eyes are just what. And I have to explain to them too, because here's the fine line of what we teach self-defense. You have to speak the ramification, but it's also to make them understand you still have to defend yourself somehow, because violence is violence. But I also believe in control and restraints. That is why it's one of my highest and hardest part of, because I teach my curriculum as in belt ranks, it's called levels. And the most harshest thing I am always on all my students, I teach them control restraints. How to pretzel somebody and just put them down. And literally, that's what I've done all my life. If you look at my knuckles, I don't have so much damages. I have slapped people more and pretzeled them, then more I have punched them or elbowed them. And I've saved those for the ring more than I've done it in the street. Don't get me wrong. There's situations that I had to, but it's not something that I brag about or I've listed as my accomplishment. I've KO'd someone. A lot of it, I have put somebody down from working in the prison, and I have worked 8 years also in the mental institute in the hospitals. We got patients off the wall. I'm going to go fucking hit a patient? Especially when I work at the forensic mental hospital, which I'm dealing with mentally deranged murderers, criminals, you know. You can't lay a hand on those guys. You know, they're off the wall. I've had like really say, but it enabled me with my training when I come into KD, when I tell them my judo jiu-jitsu training have helped me in control. And that's where jiu-jitsu also was very good about it, even my wrestling. And you can't. I mean, I'm going to hit a mental patient. How is that illogical? Even when I worked in the penitentiary system, we had violent people, and there was more. But the law, I can't just go get out of the club and hit that person. It's not going to work. So I've always been harsh and very, very, every class, no matter what I teach, always control and restraint. Always control and restraint. Whatever we can do it, from takedowns to all that, it's much better to do that than get into. Again, I'm not against fist fighting, don't get me wrong, but that is not always the answer, and we're not doing justice to our clients when we tell them, oh, you just duck and hit the dude. That's going to look really ugly on camera.
Katie, let's talk. So, Frass, you're on a huge point on that constraint and dominant dog collar, for example, when it comes to dog stuff. I mean,
he's smirking already. I see that smile on his face.
Like, the dogs can't be, I mean, we're not creating handler conflict. We're not doing anything like that. We are restricting a specific behavior by or suppression of, you know, oxygen and everything like that, right?
We're reprioritizing the dog's agenda.
Exactly.
When you have a dog who's trying to do violence upon you, you have a number of choices. You can do violence back upon them and just realize what contract you're signing. You're signing a contract to a fight, and you better hope you can win it. And against the dog, not very many people can. And realize when you bring pain to a dog is going to bring pain back to you. As opposed to a dominant dog collar, all I'm doing is reprioritizing that dog's agenda. So instead of bringing pain upon me, he now suddenly has to think about something else of value, which is oxygen and breathing. And I can do it in a very calm manner, the way Frass explained. It's not elbows, it's not punches, it's chill out, dude. Chill out. Okay, you're good. You're good. I said, are you good? Are you going to be good? Are you going to be a good boy? Okay.
Oh, you're a good boy. You're good. And like that's the. I mean, like that's the. I always tell us like it's your drunk friend at the bar. You know, it's the one that's just like, well, some of them. There's the one like, hey, like exactly explain it, KD. It's, hey, are we good? All right, you're not good. All right, we're good. All right, cool. Like, you know, you're just kind of reinforcing it, but you know, just kind of relating it back to dog training in that sense. You know, I feel like I think that's applicable in like in all senses of like, you know, in real world in general. And like that's why constraint when it comes to people, you know, it's a less lethal way, or with people, it's a less lethal way of, you know, stopping somebody and getting in trouble, and obviously learning, the laws and the legalities when it comes to it. And then with dog training, it's a way of not creating conflict. And like what we've talked about with like handler conflict and, having a team and all this other stuff, those are the things that we want to make sure that we're basically working with. And Katie helped me out with this in a little bit, but we're working with that. We're building a team versus just like yanking a dog off. We have Tim in disguise. We the yanking a dog off and like hard outing and choking them off, like that can create an issue. Like kind of what you said, when it's like, all right, we're gonna get into this fight. All right, we're about to get in this fight type of a thing. Whereas in the fight, when it comes to a person, like you can, in my case, like end up in solitary confinement for a little while. And that's not the funnest place to be, just for the kids out there watching this.
Especially when you think you're on the right and the law says no. That feeling just sucks.
I got attacked by 3 guys. I was one person. Everyone had knives. DA decided to withhold evidence, and I ended up doing facing life, and I did 6.5 months in solitary confinement. And my cellmate beforehand, the reason why I went solitary confinement was murdered right in front of me, and I didn't do anything.
And they put you in solitary confinement because of that?
Because I didn't snitch.
Oh, okay. I got it. Yep. Hey,
so
not against it, but I understand that whole
laws
thing.
Is everything, guys. And it can put you in a very weird space in life.
Oh, I tell them. I mean, of the time overseas, not here, never here. But overseas, there's no justice. I got dragged and dumped in a place in a dark room for a couple of months. I'm like, what did I do? Here's just like whole different setting. And here's the, when I speak to folks here, and I'm kind of harsh on like Mike Life's on some of the shit I post, and it's just the pacification of this country sometimes drives me nuts. And why I would say this country is so blessed. Not being political. Leave that throw out. I don't give a shit about all that. I'm just saying of everything that this country's citizens get handed here. Different than countries when you sit in places like suddenly something came up and suddenly you get snatched and you have no right to phone calls. You have no right to tell anybody here to tell where you at. And suddenly you're just getting the piss beat out of you and you don't know why. And it comes to a point you're getting your ass beat so hard, you just agreeing to whatever they want you to agree to make it stop. And that's why when I hear stories of here and people complain on justice, and don't get me wrong, there is wrong things happen also here, don't get me wrong, but to the level of what I've experienced or witnessed, I'm like, oh boy, you guys are in a shell shock one day.
Dude, that's
field trip. Field trip. Let's go, boys and girls. Get your lunch bag. We'll get on the bus and we'll head to Baba.
Yeah. I mean, where I grew up, and honestly, we had to fight, and you had to fight, or somebody's gonna take you out. I would never forget the day. The idea was in a gas station. We were in a GMC with one of our big ass GMCs down there to drive. I don't know what he did. I had no idea. Suddenly the doors open, fists are flying, and we're getting dragged out. We're just getting dragged out. And I'm just hitting anything that just wants to hit me. I can't even see it. It's just like boom, boom. And you do this here, everybody gets arrested. The cops, when they show up down there, they're like, look at people. If they don't stop, everyone is getting a beating. So you see the cops,
well, that again,
you and the person you're fighting, you're like, we're bailing out because the beating is coming. And it's coming severely, and we're all going to get arrested and never come out. And I laugh here. The cop sits and whatever, and they talk and interview. I'm like, holy shit, we never got that. We just got our ass whooped just for watching. But it builds a different animal. And that's why when I talk to students, and I'm like, it's not that I got a hard on for this shit. At the age now, I'm a single father raising a 16-year-old, just making sure he didn't see some of the things I see. But when I hear or read some of the complaints or how people look for trouble here, I'm like, oh my God, what do you guys do?
And a thing that you pointed on, and this is something that Katie, you said as well, is that experiencing violence responds like, how you react to it, or, creates how you react to it. Once you've experienced violence, once you've seen the nitty gritty of like Katie said, reality, when you see the reality of what violence can be, you know, that what creates, you know, stuff that can help a dog become very good in personal protection, a trainer who is doing, you know, coaching like what you're experiencing, Frass, you know, and like just what Kitty does too, like, you know, you can help create the perfect picture that helps people deal with these things. You know, even like, you know, stuff that I've experienced in my life, you know, and stuff that I've expressed with that, like there's a certain level of being calm within the crazy, and like being able to understand, like even when like shit's in the fan, blood's on the wall, things are going on, things are going crazy, like to be able to find that clarity and find that technical ability to, one, protect yourself, protect your family, and work to the best opportune level that you possibly can, like, and learn the techniques. That's what it's all about, right? When it comes to personal protection, you know, you can take as many cardio and what was that guy's name? Billy Blanks.
Tybo.
Oh my god! And then
So,
what's the other one that's been crazy all over the country? Title
dude,
boxing?
so
Is that the one?
I met him. He came to the shop. There's actually a Celebrity Sweat episode of me, Billy Blanks, and this other guy doing that.
Really?
Dude, like look it up, Celebrity Sweat. Like, don't make fun of me. But Celebrity Sweat is like me and like Kung Lee. Like we were doing like this whole episode of it. But there's a level of understanding of what that is versus what reality combat, what protecting yourself, what violence is like. And because you do that stuff, and then the, you know, day and age that we are in now, where everything's on Zoom and all this other stuff, and you know,
Oh my God, yes,
FaceTime sessions, like it's not the same. And even just in general within dog training, you know, protection training.
I'll share one story of my experience at the age of fucking 12.
We got 4 minutes, Frass, 4.5 minutes.
I'll make it quick. And when I talk about reality violence, with my little baby brother, literally out of our house, and I lived in Saudi Arabia, we're in Jeddah, in the borderline of a deserted area back then. I walk out looking for my baby brother. I see him. He was sitting, and he has his eyes. It was dark, and the spotlight is another spot of outside this wall. Houses are walls. I look at him, and this fucking truck just takes a fucking half a Yui, and the sand just flies off there, and they jump on this dude. I grab my brother, and I hug him, and I muzzle his mouth and hold him. I'm literally a couple of feet away. These guys put this guy in the wall. I can hear the knife go in his throat and the gurgling. And I'm holding my brother, and he is like shaking, and I'm kicking him. If they just literally heard us and looked, they would have saw us.
Who's next?
At that age, shit like that we witnessed.
Okay, that's fucking. I hate to say it, being born and raised inside San Jose, that's the shit that you deal with. I mean, like even, you know, Saudi Arabia, like that's.
Yeah, that was back then. Things have shit. But that's the level of shit sometimes that people sometimes don't have an idea. And I was like, guys.
A lot of people don't have a fucking idea, which is why they're so vocal about shit and why they're so loud. The louder they are, the less they fucking know.
Especially the keyboard warriors.
And that's the. And like for me, like that's why I'm kind of trying to be more vocal about it, because like I feel like people that don't understand it, once they see it, it's like, I mean, like not many people can say. I remember the last time blood's been sprayed sprayed on my face from an artery being like, you know, blown up. You know, not many people can say that. You know, like, or the last breath the person can take that you witness. Not many people can say that. And people are very vocal about shit like that don't really understand it. And it's pretty, you know, violence is everywhere, but that's why you have to be prepared.
Stellan! Stellan!
You have Stellan on your arm?
No, I'm saying Stellan. You know the video. The Stellan.
Oh,
another joke went over your head.
You almost got me murdered right now. Fucking Katie. Jesus Christ.
I was trying to end the episode with a great joke referencing bite work and violence and the Stellan videos that went viral.
We kind of went gloom and doom a little bit. Katie is just trying to lighten it up.
Dude, there's a dog downstairs that will murder me. Well, again, guys, we got a couple hours. We'll talk offline. But thanks again for being on here. Please check out my brothers, KD and Frass. As you can see on the screen next to us, there's all the guys there. Thank you guys so much for
Appreciate it, guys.
being on, taking the time of the night. I know you guys are out, on the East Coast, so it's even later for you guys than it is for me. So appreciate everything you guys are doing and being out there. Check out Socratic Canine. Check out, the Warrior Academy, everything like that. Check these guys out. Appreciate you both, and for everybody that's watching
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you guys.